Welcome to epic African myths, where legends breathe, kingdoms rise, and the voices of our ancestors echo through time. Tonight, we journey into the heart of Africa's greatest tales. In the heart of the Yoruba lands, when the sky darkens and thunder rolls across the heavens, the people know. The storm is not just rain and lightning, it is the voice of a god. The elders whisper his name, children clutch their mothers, and the drummers beat faster, as if to keep pace with the rumble of the skies. His name is Shango, the thunderer, the fire breather, the warrior king who became a god. To speak his name is to summon both awe and fear. For Shango does not merely command storms, he is the storm. Long before his name became legend, Shango was a man, a mighty king of Oyo, seated upon a throne carved of sacred wood, crowned in beads of coral and gold. He dressed in red, the color of fire, the color of blood, the color of life itself. Upon his brow, a beaded crown marked him as Oba, king of kings. In his hands, he held the double-headed axe, not only a weapon, but the living symbol of thunder. With it, he carried the strength of ancestors and the fury of the skies. To see Shango upon his throne was to know power, not the power of politics or riches, but the raw living force of nature itself, shaped in human form. Shango was not content to rule from a seat of comfort. He was a warrior king, a rider of storms and breaker of armies. When he mounted his horse, his warriors followed, drums pounding like the heartbeat of the earth, spears flashing in the sun. Legends say that when Shango rode to war, thunder echoed in the hooves of his horse. Enemies felt the air grow heavy, the wind rise, the storm gather before the first arrow was loosed. He fought not only with men at his side, but with the sky itself. His enemies did not fear his blade alone. They feared the storm that followed him, a storm no shield could withstand. The weapon that defined him was the oshi, the double-headed axe, one blade for justice, the other for punishment, one edge to defend his people, the other to destroy his enemies. When Shango lifted it, lightning answered. When he struck, thunder followed. Even today, carvings of the oshe are placed upon altars in his honor, for it is not only a weapon but a bridge between human and divine. The axe of Shango is a reminder that power is not gentle, it is swift, it is fierce, and it does not hesitate. At the height of his reign, Shango ruled from the palace of Oyo. Tall pillars rose into the sky, painted with symbols of strength and guardianship. Courtiers, dancers, and priests filled the courtyards. The air was alive with music, drums, flutes, and chants. Festivals in his honor shook the very earth. Men painted in red leapt and spun, imitating thunder in their dance. Women in brilliant cloth swayed like fire, singing songs of praise. In Oyo, Shango was more than a man. He was the heartbeat of the city. Every celebration echoed his power, every silence awaited his command. But Shango's might was not confined to throne or battlefield. When he lifted his arms to the sky, the heavens bent to his will. Thunder rumbled like the pounding of war drums. Lightning cracked like the clash of blades. Fire leapt where his gaze fell. Some said flames poured from his mouth when his anger rose. Others swore they saw bolts of lightning strike from his hands. The people of Oyo learned quickly to defy Shango was to defy the storm itself, and storms do not forgive. Beside him stood Oya, warrior goddess and mistress of winds and storms. She was as fierce as the whirlwind, as sudden as the tornado, as unyielding as the river in flood. Together, Shango and Oya were a tempest. Their love was passion, their quarrels destruction. When they clashed, the skies themselves split open. Oya was not only his wife, but his equal, his challenger, his storm-given form. And in her, Shango found the only force that could match his fury. But Shango's tale is not told with Oya alone. He had other wives, each shaping his story, each leaving a mark. Osun, radiant and graceful, goddess of rivers and beauty. Gentle yet cunning, she sought to soothe his temper with sweetness. Oba, loyal and tender, offered him her devotion. In some tales, she gave so much that she cut her own ear as a sacrifice, a gesture that ended in tragedy and sorrow. Yet Oya, wild and untamed, remained the flame at his side. Their rivalries shaped not only a household, but legends that endure across centuries. In battle, Shango's fury was unmatched. When he unleashed the storm, enemies scattered in terror. Flames erupted from the sky, setting fields ablaze. Thunder shattered the courage of the bravest men. Lightning struck shields, splitting them like fragile wood. Some tales say Shango could breathe fire itself, consuming armies in a single breath. When the people spoke of his wrath, they did not call it war, they called it judgment. And Shango was both judge and executioner. But no fire burns forever. Legends differ on how Shango fell. Some say his own hunger for power consumed him, and he was driven from Oyo in disgrace. Others whisper of betrayal, his enemies plotting in the shadows until the mighty king was forced to flee. One story tells that Shango, overcome with sorrow, hanged himself upon a tree in the storm-ridden forest. Another says he vanished in a flash of lightning, swallowed by the sky itself. Whatever the truth, the earth trembled on the day Shango fell, and the people mourned, for their king, their storm, their protector was gone. Yet his people did not forget. In the nights that followed, they lit sacred fires in his name, flames that never went out, burning with devotion. They drummed into the darkness, calling to his spirit. They poured offerings, palm oil, cola nuts, roasted meat, into the flames. Even in grief, they knew Shango was not truly gone. A man may fall, but a storm never dies. And so the king became more than a man. Shango's spirit rose into the heavens, crowned by fire, clothed in lightning, his voice the roar of thunder. He became an Orisha, one of the great spirits who bridged the mortal and the divine. Not only a king of Oyo, but a god of all Yoruba. Where once he ruled a city, now he ruled the skies. His power no longer ended with his death. It began there. Shrines rose in his honor, scattered across Yoruba lands. Wooden carvings of the double-headed axe marked the sacred ground. Priests and priestesses carried his symbols, speaking his name with reverence. Offerings of food, drink, and sacrifice were given to please him. In these temples, fire was kept alive, drums pounded without rest, and the presence of Shango was felt in every crack of thunder, every flash of lightning. His worship spread beyond the Yoruba homeland. Across oceans, carried by those torn from their homes, Shango's fire did not fade. In Brazil, he is Zango. In Cuba, Chango. In Trinidad and Haiti, his drums still thunder. Wherever his name is spoken, storms answer. Clad in red, his followers dance, chant, and strike the drum to summon his presence. For centuries across continents, Shango's flame has burned unbroken. Shango's tale is one of fire and storm, of passion and downfall, of man turned God. Even today, when thunder shakes the heavens, the Yoruba say it is Shango speaking, his axe striking, his voice echoing across the sky. He is the reminder that power is fierce, that justice is swift, that fire cannot be tamed. The storm is not just weather, it is memory, it is legacy. It is the eternal drumbeat of a king who rose into the heavens. Forever Shango, the thunder god of the Yoruba. You have been listening to Epic African Myths, where history and legend entwine. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe to keep the fire of our ancestors burning bright. Until the next tale, walk with wisdom and carry our stories forward.